Hey, do this, do this, do this. Right now, do this. Before we get started, make sure to like, comment, always comment, and subscribe to our OutKick channel, the OutKick YouTube channel. It wouldn't be a day if I didn't F things up, so you don't miss all the great content from Charlie, Hot Mike, Ricky, Cobb, Clay, Travis, and, of course, myself. It's all there for you, OutKick channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget maintaining with Tyrus as well. All right, let's get right into this. I think we're going to have an interview with Richie Incognito tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. You know I hate the media. I'm going to say it once again. I hate the media. See, Mike Florio, before he became Pro Football Talk, and he was trying to come up, used to come on my indie show every week. Now, this is going back to 2009, 2010, and then he did what most douchebags do. He became a douchebag. The longer you are around or see a douchebag, they can hide it a little bit, and then all of a sudden their true douchebaggery comes out. Reason Florio would come on my show is I'm very famous in West Virginia, infamous, if you will. You can look that up. And Florio was from West Virginia trying to get Pro Football Talk on. And then he became a guy, and then he became a mouth, and then he sold himself, and now he is a mouth that people actually pay attention to. But screw Florio. Fake news, Mike Florio is back at it again. He's getting roasted for his attempt to justify all the bullshit that he said about Richie Incognito and Bullygate. It turns out it's a hoax. Jonathan Martin, the guy who alleged to be bullied, came out and admitted it was, well, made up. Really shocking. Florio refuses, though, because he's a media douchebag, to do what most media douchebags won't do, which is just simply say, yeah, we effed that up. I apologize. No, Florio and others can't do that. Florio will defend trying to be among the first to break the news. He doesn't care about accuracy. No, he doesn't. Cognito is now demanding accountability from the media. You know, it's amazing. You F something up. Hell, you learned this in kindergarten. I'm sorry. I apologize. Move it along. Now, maybe, just maybe, since Florio is a lawyer, maybe, just maybe, Florio's like, yeah, well, if I admit I'm wrong, I could get sued. Fuck that. Have a little integrity. I'm swearing a lot lately because I'm kind of fired up over this subject. You know I hate the media. They have portrayed me in horrible lights. They have lied about me. They have done all these different things. So it's personal to me when I see somebody else go through it. All right. The Martin Incognito situation exposed a cultural issue for the NFL. Really? All right. Instead of a solution aimed at fixing it on a league-wide basis, the league hammered Incognito and others in hopes of scaring everyone else straight. The same thing happened with the Saints bounty gate. This guy knows nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's a disgusting, despicable, lying dirtbag of a human being, in my opinion. Because he won't just come out and say, you know what, we screwed this up. You know what, I wish we'd have done this better. How about that? We should have looked into it more. We should have realized this didn't seem right. I said it at the time. Yeah, I get it. I understand, but it doesn't seem right. Something didn't seem right about it. And of course, that was like 13, so I forgot about it, moved it along, but Incognito did, and he shouldn't. Apparently, Jonathan Martin, the guy who accused Incognito of bullying, didn't. It was weighing on his conscience to the point where he just spilled the beans to ESPN and. Now here comes Florio. The Martin Incognito situation apparently was fueled by Martin's parents' reaction to the behavior. Well, okay. Well, aren't you a reporter? You view yourself as a reporter. You view yourself as an insider. How come you didn't dig that out before you went and crucified Incognito? Yeah, I hear about journalists. I hear about, well, journalism is dead, says journalists. Us journalists, really? You never dig anything out. In here in Indy, we got 8 million, quote, Colts insiders that are being paid and conduct themselves or talk about themselves as Colts insiders, and they never break a single story. Not one. It's all a facade, and I've told you this for years. So instead of Florio just saying, okay, all right, let me go back. Fueled by Martin's parents' reaction to the behavior. If my son received the kind of voice message Martin got from Incognito, I would have reacted the same way. Most of you would have reacted the same way too. No, I wouldn't. I don't give a damn about a voicemail that my son got from a teammate. I don't give a damn about any of that. And if my son couldn't handle it, I would have given the two magic words, sack up. See, this is where Florio is a dirtbag. He can't just say, yeah, we screwed that up. I would not have reacted that way. I wouldn't have even known my son got a voicemail. I would have had no idea. Why? Because my son was born, raised to have a set of cojones, whatever the hell it is, balls, these nuts, big hairy ones. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't raised to be a little pussy that's going to run to his dad. Look, my teammate sent me a bad voicemail. I would assume that my son, the little white dude coming into Michigan, when you had a bunch of All-Americans, got his ass beat around a little bit. I assume, and I don't think he did, but hey, taught him, hey, you better hit the biggest guy if they start picking on you and figure it out later. Maybe you got to take an ass kicking, but you only have to take one. I mean, honest to God, no, we wouldn't. Mike Florio might, because he's a little biatch. Always has been, always will be. But no, I certainly would not have reacted that way. And I got to tell you, I've asked numerous people, and not one of them was. Everyone said, "What are you talking about?" I wouldn't even know. How would I even know? So here's Incognito. Nothing new here. My story hasn't changed in 12 years. Instead of reporting actual facts, Pro Football Talking is just recycling old news to cover his ass. Do better. That's exactly what he's doing. That's exactly what I said. He is an attorney. And as an attorney, he does not want to open himself to nothing. Most of us would react that way. No. Most of us would have reacted that way, at least in theory, when we were all that nonsense, Me Too, all that. Now we're like, are you crazy? Now we can speak out and be adult men with the great American penis. I don't know a single person. Maybe I hang with a rough crowd, but I don't. Are you kidding me? I get pedicures. Anyway, I don't know a single person who would have reacted by saying and lying that my son is being bullied and trying to ruin another man's career when a teammate, because a teammate, left a voicemail on my son's voicemail. I don't know one, and neither do you. I know Nick and Nick don't. I know Dylan doesn't. I know Aaron doesn't. I know Gary doesn't. I know Clay doesn't. You know, I hung with those guys, Chad, Jonathan, not a chance. If Andrew, hey, Dad, listen to this, we'd have laughed about it. He's bullying me. Well, you better hit him in the chest as hard as you can. Might have to take a beating, but you'll only take one. What are you talking about? Jesus, why can't the media just simply say, look, we didn't dig deep enough. This was an angle we didn't see coming. I'll even give them this. I'm not sure anybody would see a mother so devious as to crush another man like that, lying through her teeth continually in front of the national media, day after day after day, knowing you're lying, knowing you're not telling the truth, knowing you're full of shit. No, I don't think so. Albert Greer, whatever the hell his name is, the voice of reason. He's an NFL media guy, which means he sucks off the teat of the NFL. He said this, the reality is, for a lot of people, the Martin Incognito story was just about their feelings. That's right. On bullying. That's right. That's what most of it is. Their feelings. See Greg Doyle. Their feelings, not the facts of the case. That's right. The truth, even in real time, was right there for everyone in plain sight. But Richie was an easy target, so no one cared about the cost. Albert Breer, you're not the douchebag that I thought you were. Wow, you're not the shill that I actually saw on TV. You actually might have a brain and actually know what the hell's going on here. Shocking, I say. But he's right. This is the way it goes always. Now, sometimes a person writing a negative article on you helps, but that's just an article. That's not a cycle and another news cycle and another news cycle, which is exactly what this was. And I've said this before, and I'll say this again. Go to a basketball, football, whatever game and look at the cretins sitting in the media area. They're all little douchebags. None of them respect their job except Frank Isola, who dresses nice, Mark Boyle, the voice of the... They all look like hell. I mean, that Radio Row at the Super Bowl, honest to God, it looked like a collection of To Catch a Predator in that thing. Every place you go, they have no respect. They've probably been bullied, and now this is their chance to stand up. Yay, rock, go fight, win. All under the guise, we're journalists. You're not journalists. You're not journalists. You're children. You're angry little children. Look at Albert Greer. Look at him. The story is simple. Jonathan Martin was too soft to play in the NFL, so he quit. It should have ended there. That's right. Instead, the media heard one of their favorite buzzwords, bullying, and immediately jumped into action without knowing all the facts. I personally think Jonathan Martin and his mother should go to jail for that. I'm not saying a long jail, but you ruin a man's life. You cost a man $10 million with your lies. Isn't that what happens with white-collar crimes? I mean, to a much bigger degree, isn't that what Bernie Madoff did? Didn't Bernie Madoff cost people millions because of their lies? Didn't other Ponzi scheme guys, didn't other shysters in your town or my town? There's a guy named Durham in my town who's in jail for a long time. Wasn't it because of their lies costing others money? Wasn't it because of the deception of white-collar crimes that many white-collar criminals are in the jails? I think Martin's mother and Martin should go to jail. I don't give a damn about this mea culpa. I don't give a damn about 10 years later he's acting like a little bitch and trying to cover up his ass and his mother. No, he should go to jail. And he should go to jail tomorrow. Well, no, he should go to trial. And that trial should start tomorrow. Just my opinion. I mean, you're talking about $10 million in a man's life. Isn't that what people go to jail over? If my financial guy swindles me out of $10 million, first I'd say, how stupid am I? I mean, I thought I had $10 million. Put it underneath the covers. Anyway, secondly, I'd want his ass in jail, particularly if you ruined my life doing it publicly. No reason not. You won't see it. But damn, let me get back to the original point. Sack up, media. It's all right. We know you suck. Just admit it once in a while. Hey, when Charles ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. I think yesterday was the anniversary of us having Charles Barkley on our show. NBA legend Sir Charles Barkley took Warriors loudmouth and complete douchebag. I'm using that word a lot. See what I'm doing today? I'm on one. Draymond Green to task, claiming Green's generation of players messed the game up. After Green himself took major issue with the new All-Star game format pitting rising stars against experienced NBA vets. I didn't even know that was the game. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't know that was the game. In fact, I saw Twitter where it said, congratulations, Trace Jackson Davis. You're on the All-Star team. I'm like, why? How? What? Apparently he played well in the Rising Stars game. What? Who cares? You work all year long to be an All-Star. This is Draymond Green. And you get to play to 40, then you're done. It's unfair to Victor Wembanyama, who just took this game really seriously. When you talk about chasing after points record, Melo, Kobe, all these guys who've had great scoring nights, they don't get the opportunity to do that with this game. Also, we can watch some rising stars now. We get the treat of watching the Olympic team play against an under-19 team. Come on, what are we doing? That's ridiculous. Sucks. This ain't basketball. The fact that that idiot has a voice is stunning to me. No, it really is. Now, I get it. He was my go-to guy when he was at Michigan State, and I had to interview somebody. He was always my go-to. But the fact that that idiot has a national platform, that idiot can punch teammates, he has nobody, and I mean this sincerely, nobody individually has hurt the NBA more than Adam Silver. Next in line would be LeBron James with all their politics and their stupidity. Next in line is that guy. That guy has heard it from the standpoint of it's gotten to the point where people just roll their eyes when he speaks now, roll their eyes when he gets a technical, roll their eyes when he punches somebody. Yeah, he's the next Charles Barkley, but Charles Barkley's likable. This dude's an idiot. I mean, he's just a stone idiot. I mean, he's just going to talk, open his mouth, talk louder, open his mouth, talk louder. Barkley talks less, if you really notice. No, that's why I should be on the panel of every basketball show. I'd talk less and say more. It's interesting. I'm going to disagree with Draymond a lot. I use the analogy like when your kids messed up the house, you make them clean it up and they complain. They mess the game up. That's why, that's funny. That's why we're trying to kamikaze stuff out here right now. Ooh, is somebody going to be mad about kamikaze? Ooh, somebody check the pulse of the USA Today, Dan Wolkin. Wait a second. Charles Barkley said kamikaze. Ooh, must cancel. All right, they messed the game up. They're trying Now we're trying that kamikaze stuff out here right now. His generation messed the game up, so don't act like he's mad they're trying to use rookies. We're doing every type of trick to make this work weekend exciting. Well, I would argue it was even before. I would argue it was before this generation. This generation, I always blame the parents. I blame the parents. The people that came before, the Jalen Roses of the world, that generation, between Barkley and Michael and Kobe and this group, they're the ones that effed it up. They're idiots. By the way, we have lead idiot, Jalen Rose. Here they go. Jalen Rose, Vince Carter, and Draymond Green. Oh, man, dumb, dumber, and dumbest. Here we go. Let's hear from the three.
And Draymond's first reaction was, I could have told you that an hour ago. Do you have any other news that you need to break right now?
I just know he's been dealing with that. He took a couple games off last week. And then I think he played one of the games with Luka. But I know he's been dealing with that. And so it's kind of expected.
Gotcha. The reaction, I think we all were disappointed when we heard that news.
Well, it's the reality. It kind of what we were saying about All-Star Weekend. We were talking about getting the top players to compete on Saturday to help boost the dunk contest. And we talked about LeBron being the key domino in that. And now we're trying to create a 3-team, 8-player squad to combat the best players not competing hard in the All-Star game. So now with the new format, hopefully now it's legitimized and players actually go out there and compete.
I think Bron could have helped somebody else out and said this.
Said it earlier so they can find someone else. So you can go in and play. So you can go play.
I ain't had that type of year, but somebody out there. D-Book.
We have a jersey for you. D-Book.
Great
absolutely want to. Sabonis.
There's a lot of guys, but there's a lot of guys who are worthy of that like you said, who he close. He's close by.
He took a roster spot from somebody.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, listen, we still get to watch Steph.
I mean, can you imagine if those three idiots replaced Charles, Shaq, and Kenny? Honest to God. Think about what All-Star Game weekend is this past week. Think about this. Instead of celebrating the game, which in theory is what an all-star game is supposed to be, and showcasing the best players, we had players that looked like idiots, played like idiots. We had games that nobody understood, and every single time you went to TNT or you went to the desk, the people at the desk had to talk about how bad the NBA is. Now, just think about that. Now, if I'm Adam Silver, and I am the organizational pie chart or the organizational tree under Adam Silver, I got to look at this and say, we got a serious problem. But here's the thing. They signed like an $11 billion deal. Somebody was dumb enough in the media to give the NBA $11 billion. The media across the board. So they really may not care. But think about that. To celebrate the weekend, Jalen Rose is still talking. Draymond Green can't talk. And Vince Carter hasn't had anything interesting to say. In fact, Vince Carter, Jeff McGinnis, and Rasheed Wallace were the reason. This is a true story. Nobody knows this. Why Dean Smith quit. Nobody knows that. Say, just tell me I'm wrong. Go crazy. Bitch, whine, and moan. Put it on your message board. But that is a fact, Jack. Anyway, Kevin Durant chimes in. I think it's more fun to complain about the NBA than to actually watch it. Crazy. Cancel All-Star Weekend. Just give everyone a break since we're so miserable around this time. I would agree with that. I would 100% agree with that. I think you should. I think you have proven to be children. And when children don't do right, you just shut it out. Put them in a room. Go to your room for 6, 7. I agree with Durant there. I couldn't agree with him more. The dudes look like chicks. They have no heart. They have no interest in anything but the massive contracts that they have. I agree. Cancel it. Here's Durant. You're complaining about injuries now. Wow, the NBA has spoiled you. That's why we need a break. A week without basketball would have you appreciating the product when it's back on. Ooh, I don't know about that, big dog. I ain't so sure about that. I mean, dudes that look like chicks playing half-hearted, I don't know, man. I tell you one thing we can do in this country. We can move it along. I don't know if you saw, but the ratings for hockey were cray-cray, to quote my daughter back in the day. Cray-cray. Here's Gunzelman, our friend Guns, KD. Today's a day off for you all. I'm asking you to rewatch the full live broadcast with the unreal amount of commercials, breaks, everything else today. Watch it from your couch. and see if you can watch the full event through. And it was an all-star game. Not ideal. KD responded like this is, good. KD, I get it. My point is fans complain about everything. Like nothing is good enough for fans right now. Only thing they enjoy is playoffs, trade deadline, free agency, and when players beef with each other. That is true. I remember hosting Mike Greenberg and I on the start of free agency, and I'm like, what? He goes, Dan, this will be the biggest show of the summer. People love this stuff more than the actual game. You have to because the games suck. Kevin Durant sucks to watch. I mean, he's unbelievably talented, but he's an unlikable human being. Here's Kevin Durant. Here's who Kevin Durant really is. Kevin Durant is actually what I'm doing right now, but he's got this persona because he's got to be down for the cause. It's bullshit. This is the biggest group of phonies we've ever seen. Bobby Barack, he has a thought, and I'm digging this thought. I do. I'm digging this thought. I find the NBA is broken talk interesting because I was quite possibly the first national person to point out the league was broken, headed for a steep decline in 1819. Keep in mind, this was pre-OutKick for me when I was writing for a mainstream U.S. Today outlet. Media people were furious at me and demanded I be fired immediately. Adonde, a possible Russian stooge, was one of them. Interesting, the NBA could solve most of its problems if it leaned more into its international players. The American-born players are spoiled brats who feel obligated to be social justice race warriors despite many of them not having much knowledge of society. Boy, is that true. LeBron's a good example of that. The international players just want to play basketball. They're likable, fun to watch, be it Jokic, SGA, Luka, Wemby, Giannis, Prince, Seguin, etc. He ain't wrong. Now, is that anti-xenophobic? Look, you cannot name me. You can't. You can't name me one American basketball player that's interesting. You can't. LeBron should be, but he's unlikable. Like when LeBron speaks now, you just go, yeah, okay. But you can't name me. I mean, you see that Chet Holmgren guy in a commercial? Looks like a freaking vampire. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is like a 12-year-old. They can barely speak, these guys. Holmgren was embarrassing. That's the dumbest commercial. See, you got to have good commercials. Why am I bringing up commercials? Because the NBA, whether you liked it or not, was helped to be built by great commercials. Was it Bird and Michael or Bird and Magic playing horse in a McDonald's commercial? Michael Jordan's commercials are iconic. Even clowns like Tracy McGrady have pretty good commercials. I mean, what are you doing? Barkley, why do you think Barkley and Shaq do every commercial? Sure, partially it's their fame. Partially it's because they're African-American, but they're likable dudes. You like them. You tell me you like Draymond Green, I'll tell you you're out of your freaking mind. You tell me you like Jalen Rose? Jalen Rose? Jalen Rose never listens to what anybody on the set says. He just talks. Vince Carter? Isn't that what he did? Oh, total unlikable. That's your problem. Hey, I'm telling you, if the NBA were smart, they'd go day drinking with Luka. They'd get Luka and Jokic together in the offseason and spend a day with them. You'd have a blast. Spend a day with these idiots. You'd be playing video games and go, well, that's it. No. Speaking of hockey, let's go. Speaking of events, the NBA, they should take a page out of the NHL's playbook and up for the international tournament. Instead of the idiotic All-Star game, as the Four Nations Cup between USA and Canada drew staggering ratings. President Trump is helping make hockey great again. American hockey great again. That's right. That's right. I got the greatest show in America. Think about it. If you're watching Fox or CBS, NBC, where does somebody get so excited? Where does somebody bring such joy and some hate all in one show? It's pretty good. By the way, Bruce Pearl's going to join us coming up here in a minute. Even though hockey isn't nearly the most popular sport in our country, not even close, the Hockey Stars soundly defeated the Canadian Hockey Stars, a country where hockey isn't only the most popular sport, but quite literally the national sport of the nation. And we kicked that ass. TV ratings showed American Pride is 100% back, while hockey often struggles to draw big audiences, particularly compared to other major sports. Saturday's game drew a whopping 4.4 viewers on ESPN. Now remember, you had all kind of stuff going on. We had the NBA Rookie game. Idiots. According to Sports Media Watch, the game delivered the largest non-playoff NHL audience since the 2011 Winter Classic. And among all non-football broadcasts, only 5 have averaged a larger audience since the World Series, all of them boosted by holiday out-of-home viewing. 4 NBA Christmas Day games on ESPN ABC, and a Thanksgiving Illinois-Arkansas college basketball game on CBS that had direct lead-ins from the NFL. Replacing the All-Star game with an international tournament has proved to be a huge success for the NHL, and it sets up perfectly for 2026 when NHL players are set to return to the Olympics. See, NBA players are such douchebags that I'm guessing they wouldn't want to do this or they wouldn't play hard because they don't have any pride. There's no national or league-wide pride in the NBA. You've got young children getting massive contracts that have had their asses kissed, and I'm being literal here, since they were 10 years old. Again, maybe it's not the children's fault. It's the parents' fault. It's the dudes that kissed ass. I always tell the story. A guy named O.J. Mayo played in the NBA a long time. He was in 8th grade. I became the head coach at West Virginia. O.J. Mayo was from the Cincinnati, West Virginia area. I'm recruiting. I'm looking. I'm at an event in Indy. Somebody says, O.J. Mayo's playing over at North Central High School. So I'm like, screw it. I'm the West Virginia coach. He's in West Virginia. He's the up-and-comer. I go over there. Now, as the head coach of West Virginia, I couldn't get close to this kid. He had a bunch of douchebags around him. Hey, man, I'm Dan Dakich. I'm a new head coach. Yeah, coach, we saw you. Hey, good to meet you. As they ushered this clown out of the gym. And I'm thinking to myself, this ain't going to end well. Well, he played in the NBA. I'm sure he made some money. But a few charges later, it's ended, never became what he should have been. In fact, he got knocked the hell out by that Beasley kid who was Michael Beasley. Got knocked the hell out at the McDonald's All-Star game for being a mouth. Didn't pay gambling debts. What are you going to do? I got a knack. Anyway, coaches, just like athletes, can be dumbasses as well. Boy, is this true. The latest example being Mavericks assistant coach Daryl Armstrong, who hilariously was also tasked with player development. He's like a 9-year NBA guy. He was arrested Saturday morning after reportedly hitting and threatening to kill a woman with a firearm. There you go. All right, I don't want him developing my players. I always tried to look when I hired somebody, is he capable of killing a woman with a firearm? I don't think I ever hired anybody that would do it. One of my assistant's family members is a noted mafia guy. I hired him because I wanted to hear the stories. Anyway, Daryl Armstrong, 10-year Dallas Mavericks assistant coach, was arrested Saturday morning after reportedly hitting and threatening a woman with a firearm during a dispute. You know my stance on this. Okay, dumbass. What do you do now? You're the tough guy. You're the big mean guy. You're all pissed off. What are you doing now? What? You apologize to the woman after you stay in jail. You got hundreds of thousands, maybe tens of thousands in legal. What do you do now, tough guy? You've hit a woman. You've threatened a woman. What do you do now? You know my stance. If you watch this show, you've heard my stance. According to WFAA, Armstrong, who played in the NBA 14 years, was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Since his arrest, he's been suspended by the Mavericks. There you go, Mark Cuban. Details from the scene noted that Armstrong had been drinking, shocking, and trying to force his way into the victim's apartment. He wanted some action. I'm shaking my hips Elvis style. Armstrong got on the phone and hit the woman in the face with his pistol. What are you doing carrying a pistol into a woman's house? I know there's open carry law, but what are you doing? Hey, man, I'm going to bring my pistol over there. Hey, let's just go through the worst case scenario. She stole $1 million from you and is sleeping with your best friend. You bringing a pistol over there? What's wrong with people? He got on the phone, hit the woman in the face with a pistol. I'm going to shoot you, Armstrong reportedly said. He's also accused of multiple instances of physical abuse by the victim. She contacted police Saturday, 3:40 a.m. Jesus. No, seriously. It's ridiculous. I know I'm not supposed to say this, but I'm getting tired of Caitlin Clark. Yeah, I'm getting tired. I am. I know we're not supposed to. Caitlin Clark drove ratings all summer long for us. And Caitlin Clark's here in Indianapolis, and getting tired of Caitlin Clark, you're on the wrong side of the law, but I'm starting to. And it always starts this way with agents. Aaron Kane, no relation to Erica Kane, from All My Children, those of you at a certain age will remember. Believes her star client and WNBA players in general deserve higher pay. Plus, Caitlin Clark's historic impact on both the league and the city of Indianapolis has come into further focus with shocking economic impact data being revealed. Well, the truth of the matter is the league lost almost $50 million. You can make the argument that none of them should be paid. You can make the argument they should pay the league. I mean, you could if you were doing normal business, but this isn't normal business. Maybe Caitlin Clark should go start her own league. Maybe Caitlin Clark should go play on the street. See how that goes for her. But the WNBA brand, ESPN, the name across the front of her shirt does matter. And I don't care the economic impact. Your league lost $50 million. Yes, she should make it up in advertising because she seems to be very popular. But your league lost $50 million. Salary is paid from the league. But let's go to economic impact. Will Clark ever be paid by the NBA what she's really worth to that league? Probably not, but she hasn't been worth anything to that league. Now, I'm sorry, little Erin Kane. She has not been worth any. The league has lost $50 million. When the league turns a profit, all right. When you can afford, when you're flush with money, all right. And maybe that's happened. Pay the girl. But when you are in business, and look, everybody on every team has a leading scorer. Okay? Follow me here. She's the WNBA's leading scorer. All right? She's the WNBA's number one attraction. Follow me. Everyone on every bad team has a number one attraction, has a leading scorer. The WNBA right now is a bad team when it comes to money, finances. They're losing close to $50 million they can't sustain on their own. So she happens to be the leading scorer on the bad team. Everyone's got one. Now, let's move it forward. This has only been 1 year. If, in fact, it continues and the league rises, they start making money, pay her everything. They all need to be paid more. She should be recognized. That woman, what? She's recognized every second of every day for what she has done and what she's brought to the league from an economic standpoint. They lost $50 million. If you're going to just mention the league, that's what the league did. It lost $50 million. Jeez. It's as simple as that. Most important thing has always been NBA players for what they do on the court. They do. But they don't make any money. They're paid more than the normal salary in Indiana for an operation that loses $50 million. If this were a normal business that lost in excess of $50 million a year for 27, 28 years, no one would get paid because there would be no business. I'm very, very hopeful that the CBA negotiation will – oh, shut up. An economist at Indiana University, Columbus, interviewed by the Indy Star, recently calculated Clark was responsible for $36 million in economic impact on the city of Indy, 27% of the league's economic activity in the 2024 season, including attendance, merchandise, and television. Her salary is expected to be, I'll add this, a bloated $78,000 for the 2025 season because the league lost all kind of money. Jesus, you keep putting her in the league as a whole. Well, if she is inside the league as a whole, the league lost $50 million or about $50 million. That's it. Shouldn't even make $78,000. None of them should. Seriously, no other business would they? Last thing, Republican Congressman Tim Burchett, who I guess I don't know, continues to hold the whiny Democrats' feet to the fire while defending Doge. I love Burchett, I'm sorry. Claiming he won't be surprised to see a paper trail coming back to D.C. kickbacks over these absurd contracts Doge is uncovering. That's why I think a lot of people are nervous, and you'll see a lot of retirements. I love this. Here's Burchett.
How did we end up where we are?
Well, that's an excellent question. And when you see people here in Tennessee paying 50% of their income to state, federal, and local taxes through through everything else, fees and everything else. And then they see us sending literally billions overseas to our enemies. I've uncovered $40 million going to the Taliban. A guy named Sean Ryan over in Middle Tennessee, former Navy SEAL, podcaster. He and another guy named Legend had brought this to my attention. And, last term, I could not even get the Democrats to bring it up in the Senate. It passed unanimous in the House, not even a question, because they're going to have to admit they made a mistake. And they've continuously made a mistake, and they did it on purpose is the worst part about it. And this graph that you're seeing, and that's 100% what it is.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a paper trail come back to Washington, D.C., and that's why I think a lot of people are nervous, and you'll see a lot of retirements because they are stealing from the American taxpayer, and now they've got their hand caught in the cookie jar, and all they can do is attack Elon Musk.
That's exactly right. I don't even know. Oh, let me put it this way. That's exactly how it seems. I mean, it sure the hell seems like, I don't know. It sure the hell seems like they're coming at the messenger, not at the source. And it's going to be fascinating. I saw a few days ago, and I don't think it's happened yet, Donald Trump said he was going to have a press conference and release all the names. Did you see this? $4.7 trillion to the Treasury Department that is untraceable. Trillion. 4.7 trillion. I don't know if you saw this either. But when Bill Clinton and Al Gore were in office, they talked and did the exact same thing. Nobody bitched, whined, and moaned then. But I think what happened, here's the timeline in my world. I think what happened was this. I think Clinton did this. He got it. He tried, whatever. And then when the Bushes, who are part of the oligarchy, saw, well, it really didn't work, we're back in business. I do. And I think all that corruption started with the Bushes through Obama, through Biden. Biden been in it a long time. Hell, I was watching something yesterday on Anita Hill. Clarence Thomas and Anita Hill, that goes back to when I lived in Bloomington. I remember watching those things when I lived in Varsity Villas in Bloomington. That was the 80s. And but Joe Biden's sitting right there grilling Anita Hill. Honest to God, that's how long some of these people have been in office making money. And now, I agree. I would love to talk to Congressman Tim Burchett about just this. Where does he think this ends? Like, I'll tell you this, I wouldn't be surprised to see Joe Biden all of a sudden be in the hospital. I wouldn't. Joe Biden all of a sudden got a heart attack or something. Because you know it's coming to the big guy. I honestly don't. I don't think Donald Trump is going to stop until he nails the big guy. I don't.